Alright, shalom, and welcome to another show of GMS Collage, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Also, giving double honors to the elder apostles, the elders of GMS, who rule well, and who have given us the tools to be able to teach this word. And also salutations to you other brothers that are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. Okay, so today's topic is going to be based on how the word sometimes speaks in allegories and analogous terms so that the people that it's being given to can understand it. All right. And the reason why I came up with this topic was because a while back we happened to be on the other side of Boston after camp. We were helping out a brother with a few things, and we happened to be parked in front of this church. And naturally, you know, when you see people that are in church, you want to engage them. So, long story short, we ended up debating with them. We pulled out our books and we started going back and forth with them with the scriptures. And the topic came up of eating pork. So the question was asked: Did they eat pork? And one of the gentlemen said that no, they didn't eat it, and the other gentleman said that he did. And his justification for eating pork was he used Romans the 14th chapter. Okay, so I'm going to read Romans the 14th chapter and try to explain to you what he meant in reading it. Okay, so it says, "Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for the Most High hath received him." So he used this scripture to say we shouldn't be judging him because he does eat pork, and he shouldn't judge us because we don't. So that's what he used as a justification, and it wasn't a surprise because it's not the first time we've heard it, and I'm sure other brothers have heard it as well. That people in these churches, they try to use the scriptures to justify their poor behavior or their lack of keeping the law. That's always been done. Even our people in ancient times did those things. So it's nothing new. But what I want to do is first explain how the word can sometimes use analogous terms to explain something, and secondly, try to explain what Romans the 14th chapter was actually talking about. So hopefully it's edifying. So for some people that may be review, and for others it may not be. But in any event, I still want it to be something that a brother could use to have this debate, for one, and also to build himself up in his understanding. So I want to go to. First I want to go to Matthew, the 4th chapter, to show you that sometimes the word, when it mentions the word as bread or water or food, it's not talking about actual food, but it's talking about the word. So you have this. It says Matthew 4:4, "But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High." You see. So just like we need bread and different types of food to nourish our bodies, we need the bread of the word to nourish our spirits. So they go hand in hand, and that's why you can use food as an analogy to explain the word and how vital it is to the spirit, because food is vital to the flesh. So you use that to explain how important it is. Okay, so I'm going to go through a bunch of different scriptures that mentions the word as though it's talking about food, but it's actually talking about the word. Okay, so I got a list here. The first one is okay. Actually, I want to go to a different one first. I want to save that one for the end. Okay, so I'll go to. Bear with me for a moment. Okay. So this is from the prophet Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 15:15. It says, "O Lord, thou knowest, remember me and visit me and revenge me of my persecutors. Take me not away in thy long suffering. Know that for thy sake I have suffered rebuke. Thy words were found, and I did eat them, and thy word was unto me the joy and rejoicing of my heart, for I am called by thy name, O Lord, power of hosts." So you see, Jeremiah said that he found the words and he ate them. So he ingested them, not physically. He wasn't eating the paper out of the book, but he spiritually ate those words, and it gave him joy. He said, "And thy word was unto me the joy and rejoicing of my heart." And it's the same thing when you eat. You know, them times where you're real hungry, you may be coming off a fast, or you might just be in a day where you're really hungry, and you eat, and you get happy. And it's the same thing in the truth. When you were out in the world, you were hungry for something. You wanted to, you longed, and you searched for something to eat, so to speak. And when you got the word, it was joyful to you, just like how food is after a hungry day. So since I said that, I want to go to I think it's Revelations 10. I don't have it on that list. Revelations 10 and 9, I think it is. Okay, yep. So this is to explain that what I just said. It says, "And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said," Salak, let me read that again. "And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey." And just like when you hungry, you have them hungry days, and you eat that food, and you're eating and eating and eating, and you're like, this is so good. But you've eaten so much of it that it gets bitter in your stomach, or it may be too heavy, and it gets bitter in your stomach. The same thing with the word. The word is, you get so excited because you're hearing something new. You're finding out you're Israelite. You're finding out that so-called white people are Edomites. So all these things are new to you, and it feels good, and then you eat too much of it, and it may get bitter, or once you start to digest it, it gets bitter, because now you're realizing that people are going to hate you because you got a different point of view than they do. You're going to realize that you get all types of trials and tribulations, so it gets bitter to you. Okay, so that's why food is used in the same analogously to the word, because it has the same characteristics. Okay, so those are a couple of scriptures of how the word is used to how food is used. The analogy of food is used to describe the word. Now, to explain what Romans the 14th chapter was actually talking about, I want to go back to it and read it again. Alright, so it says, "Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for the Most High hath received him." So you have two different things here. You have a person who eats, and you have a person who doesn't eat as much. So what this is talking about, if you use that analogy and you understand that this is actually talking about the word, there's different levels of understanding the word. You got some brothers that may only understand how to prove that they're Israelite. You might have some brothers that only can prove that we're the Israelites through the Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which is not, I don't want to say lower level, because we all at a level above the world, but those are the things that you learn when you first come into the truth. Those are the milk, so to speak. Just like how a child, when he's born, the child doesn't have teeth, so he can't chew meat so that it can go into his stomach. So what does he have? He has milk. So those are the first things that you learn when you come into the truth, and that's what this is talking about. You got people that are at different levels. You got some brothers that are real heavy in the spirit. You have some brothers that are real heavy into learning the languages. You got some brothers that are real heavy into being advisors and being leaders and advice givers. and those are, the different offices that are in the truth. But you're not supposed to despise a person who may seem lower than you because he's ingesting what he can ingest. And then the person who doesn't ingest as much, he can't despise a person who eats a little bit more, because that's just the level that he's at. You don't see adults going around saying that baby ain't shit. He only can drink milk. So that's what this is talking about. It's talking about the different levels of eating. The word. Okay. So to prove that, I'll go to I think it's Hebrews. Oops. Oh, let's do it like this. 5. Okay, Hebrews 5:8. It says, though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him, called of the Most High, and high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Okay? So now listen, it says, of whom we have many things to say, and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing. So what Paul is saying here is, he's saying is, I want to explain this priesthood of Melchizedek to you, but the things that I have to say to explain these things, they're hard to be understood, or they're hard to say because you're dull of hearing. So let's look at what that dull of hearing means. Dull of hearing. So it says here, the word dull, I'm going to play it so I don't have to pick the camera up.
Strong's G 3576, no thras.
Okay, which means slow, sluggish, indolent, dull, and languid. So I want to look up some of these other words. You pretty much get the picture of what slow and sluggish means. But I want to look up this word indolent. So go here. Okay, it says wanting to avoid activity or exertion, lazy. Okay, and there's some synonyms: lazy, idle, slothful, loafing, do nothing, sluggardly, shiftless, lackadaisical. It actually has this word languid, which was in the definition in the blue letter. So I want to click on that. Languid is of a person, manner, or gesture, displaying or having a disinclination for physical exertion or effort, slow and relaxed. So let's go back to this. So what is this saying when it says you're dull of hearing? Is it saying that they're lazy? No, but because they're at that lower level, their mind is dull to hearing certain spiritual things because they haven't done the work to get to that level where they can understand what he was talking about Melchizedek. Okay, so let's go back to that. It says, of whom we have many things to say and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing. So there's going to be some things that you hear in this truth that you can't absorb right away. Just to give a personal testimony, I for a long time I couldn't understand Romans 7. And I would read it and read it and read it and read it, but I couldn't understand what it was talking about. And then when I was trying to make a point one day at camp, and I was speaking, and I was saying what Paul was saying, and I didn't even realize it. And the brother happened to bring it out, which was Ariel Gabar. He happened to bring out the scripture. And I'm like, oh, that's what it's talking about. So sometimes you may not be able to understand something at a certain time, and the Lord build you up to understand it. Some of the things that you go through, the experiences that you go through, build you up to a level where you can understand some of the spiritual things that you receive. Okay, so it says here, for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High, like I said before, and are become such as have need of milk and not strong meat. So see, when you're drinking milk, you're like a child with no teeth, and you can't ingest those strong meats because your body's not ready for it yet. But then when you get older, you get teeth. The acids in your stomach that break the food down get stronger. So now you can have those heavier meats. But it's not talking about actual food. It's talking about the word. There's going to be some things that you just can't receive at certain times. It doesn't mean that it's not the truth. It just means that you're not ready to receive it. All right. So I'll finish reading this. It says, "For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness." You see, so it goes from saying milk to saying unskillful in the word, which shows you that it's not talking about actual food. So it says, "For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe." Okay, but strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So once you in this truth for a while, and you start to learn different things, and you start to go through different experiences, then you'll be ready to take on those heavier meats. Okay. So now Paul mentions something in Romans the 14th chapter. He said that one shouldn't judge the other. Those, you got some that eat who are able to ingest those strong things, and you got some who eat herbs who can't ingest those strong things. Does that make them wrong? The people that eat the herbs? No. So I want to go to one more scripture to show that there's some brothers that are going to be at that low stage, that lower level of understanding, but that don't make you better than them, or and vice versa. So we go to this real quick, then I'll close up. Okay, this is John 16:12. It says, "I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth, for he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come." So, in other words, John was saying to them, there were certain things that they weren't ready to hear yet, but once the Lord is ready to give it to them, they'll receive it. Just another example, when the Lord went back up into the spirit world after he was resurrected, and he spent 40 days and 40 nights with the apostles, it said that he revealed all things to them. So in due time, you get a certain level of things to understand that you'll be able to digest, so to speak. Okay, so that's why Paul said, judge not the man who eateth, and judge not the man who eateth not, because brothers are going to be at different levels. So that's what Romans 14 was talking about. It's not talking about actual food, but it's talking about the word, and how there may be some brothers that can take the heavier things of the word, and there's some brothers that may be only able to take the lighter things of the word. But the truth is the truth, and even the light things in the truth are heavier than the things that you learn in the world, by far. So that's the lesson for the day. Hopefully it was edifying, and hopefully brothers watch the video and get built up, and add comments, or make another video to add onto it. I'm sure there's other things that you can add onto. I mean, there were some things that I even didn't really touch on, but I think the point was made. So hopefully again, it was edifying, and until the next time, I'll say shalom.